Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to My Hero Academia. It is episode 13. I think that's kind of doing it. From season 3. And you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, please go down into my descriptions. There you will find the link. Just replace some parts with dots and you will see the reaction itself. Once you've done, come back here and feel free to hear out my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, that was a slower episode. One might say they boiled it down a little bit, and I think that's a good thing to do, because the last episodes were just hype, you know? I was like, every episode was like, holy heck, what's going to happen next? So, maybe they could have kept it on this level, but, then there is no more training, then there's no more school, then those kids will be in the front line forever. And I think it is good that we had a hype episodes and it was awesome, and now we boil it down back to the more neither normal time at school, at the UA, and I think they did that pretty well. They pointed out a lot of problems that there are, as we know. Mainly the elephant in the room, the fact that 5 of them did not follow the rules, did try to rescue Bakugo, which we already discussed, which I can completely understand, and both sides have valid points. In the end, the fact that they were there helped, that's no question, but still, they broke the laws that they are told to obey. Don't go out on your own. Don't go against villains. And for God's sake, don't use your quirks in public. Because you are not trained yet to use them in whatever kind of fight. Although they kind of sneaked that one by not using the quirks against the villains themselves. So, there was one of the big themes in this episode. And I was kind of surprised of the ending, you know, the fact that Sue so strongly was having problems with the fact that the guys and the girls did that. So she wasn't aware at all. They sneaked out, they did it on themselves, and she just learned this time when Eraser had told them that this has happened. So that's why she drew back, why she was unsure how to react. I can partially understand it. I mean, she was very clear about that she's against it. So she's someone who very clearly wanted everyone to stay put and follow the rules. And those that didn't knew that. So they went out and completely ignored, or at least denied what she said. So they did not listen to her. That hurts. You know, they're friends. At least I guess they feel like friends to each other. So they did it although she told them not to, and many others said as well. I guess that's the main problem here. And it doesn't change the fact that they were successful. It was still a matter of, in general, what will happen the next time? I mean, that's a big question. If something like this happens again, what will they do? Will they do the same? Will they sneak out again? I mean, possibly they will then be allowed to move out. But even then, if there are, as we had it in the discussion in the hospital, if there are 5 who say we want to go, and I think a dozen or more who say don't, the 5 do it nonetheless, then this is no democracy, you know? Then there is a question, is this a group where we are all equals? Or is this a group where there are 4 or 5 who are major characters, who have bigger quirks, who have more offensive quirks, can do whatever they want? Because in the end, that's what they did. They did what they wanted nonetheless. I can see she has problems there. As I discussed the one time when this happened, I still don't think it's wrong what they did. And that makes it even more complicated. So, let's see what happened. I mean, this episode was pretty fun, apart from that ending. we started off where we left last time with Izuku's mom, who, no question, is a pro hero here. I mean, she overcame her doubts, overcame her fears in the end. She lets her son leave to the UA. He will be back possibly at the weekends or something like that. But in general, the kids are at the UA now full time. So the parents don't see them anymore, and that's a harsh thing to do. I like the fact that All Might thinks she, in many ways, is like Nana, is like his master. Not just by outside look, but by the power, by the strength she has in herself. I mean, that's a big compliment, and I can agree with that. So, yeah, what else to say there? What I wrote down, however, on this moment here is, and you can see it in the background, the buildings. So on the right side, we have small houses, where I guess some of the students are living in like a small house, or for other students live in like a huge mansion. But on the left side, we have flats. We have living conditions for those who just earn a normal living, to say so. So you can clearly see that Deku's mother is not rich at all, is not even wealthy. She's possibly struggling when it comes to money. It was never a part of the whole discussion, but she is a single mother with a child who's just going to school and now gets a little bit bigger. And they live in a small rental flat, I guess, it looks like. So you can only guess that money is a problem. And so he comes out of, I wouldn't say poor social status, but he's definitely not a wealthy one. Which is interesting to me to know for the background, you know, of the character that he is. And about her as well. So, just because I think in this episode it is an interesting theme they put out there, an interesting question. The differences in the students from the social status where they come from. So Deku comes from, let's call it lower social status, but definitely not lowest possible, because he has a decent living up to this point. Then we had a short interlude where they showed all the students with their quirks, and it feels to me a bit like, you know, the last episodes. Half of the season was more neither about All for One, the villains, the big fight, you know, and most of the students were not involved. They were put aside for a while, and now that we are back with the UA, they kind of reintroduce us to the students, and this is what this episode is about, I think. So we see them all again, what they are, and their new home, which is huge. And I don't know how many of you know it. I'm watching Shokugeki no Suma as well, and it reminded me a lot of the dorms in this series. Because they have the same idea. You have a school, like this UA here, and you have dorms on the ground of the school, different ones. Here they all look the same, so it's okay. And seeing that there's 1A on top of it, I guess that all the other houses who looked the same from afar will possibly have like 1B, 2A, and so on and so forth. So that we have the different classes, each has their own house. Which will bring that if you are able to finish the first year and you get good grades, you will possibly have to move with all your stuff to another house. Because if it is marked as 1A, that would mean end of year, travel to the 2A house, and the 2A group moves out to 3A, and so on and so forth. Okay. I would have guessed more like a class has the house for like 3 years, for all the time, you know? Would be, it makes less of a problem with having to move your stuff all the time. So it's a nice house, it looks really neat, good architecture, a lot of space. And if you see that they constructed it in 3 days, I ask myself, how the heck did they do this? But then, we are in a world of heroes. So, I mentioned Cementos, so possibly the groundwork is done by someone like Cementos. And then you will have people with quirks that enables them to build houses extremely fast. Just guessing. So they didn't show it. Would have been interesting to see, at least like in a very short cut, in a very short scene, that you can see like 3 or 4 persons with quirks for construction, how they do that in astonishing time. I guess someone like cutting wood with his bare hands or stuff like that. Just saying. And we now have, as said, the UA on the one hand and all those houses on the other side. On the ground of the UA are already other houses for training and stuff like that. So I guess it's getting a bit of cramped now. We had the short information about that they're still searching for the possible traitor. We will see. And we have Eraserhead welcoming them. And here's so he kind of shames on those 5 people, which is possibly the best way to do it. There are no real consequences, but he shamed them in front of all the others, telling that they betrayed the trust. And I can see that. And remembering how I grew up with my parents being, getting like, you have to stay in your room or stuff like that, or taking away your computer, the typical things, or handy nowadays it would be. That's a harsh thing, but when your mother is like, I'm so disappointed in you, and partially crying, that hurts more than everything else. And that's why I said emotional clubbing. However, and that was surprising to me, Bakugo got money for Kirishima for the night vision goggles. And I asked myself, how could Kirishima have night vision goggles? I mean, they are expensive. Is he from a rich family? So we now know that he simply went to his bank account and completely depleted it to get it. Which is not very clever, but okay. And Bakugo paid him at least partially back. I'm not sure what he needed him for, however. But it served as comedic relief for everyone else. So there was this, and this is why I'm discussing this. There is this moment Eraserhead shamed 5 of their group in front of them. Everyone is, while Eraserhead leaves, everyone is like down, and it was discussed by Tsu in the end. All the others didn't know how to react now, what to say. Some of them didn't agree what the other 5 did, and so on and so forth. So it was a strange atmosphere for everyone. And then Bakugo does this, and starts a comedic relief effect. Everyone is laughing, everyone is having, kind of joyful. It's on the cost of one person here, which is not good, but he's kind of used to it, and I guess in the aftermath he would have agreed with it possibly. But he lightened the mood. And I asked myself, was that on purpose? Because Bakugo always acts like he's so grumpy and I'm not in with it and just go away, I don't want to stay with you. And even when they searched through the house for the rooms, he was sleeping at the time. But he did something positive for the group there, and I asked myself if it was on purpose. Because I think Bakugo is growing more and more with each season to become a nice guy, but he's just not willing to show it. So maybe it was on purpose. We had the rooms and floors and everything. Yeah, there's a bathroom. One of my not so favorite characters went for that straight, as we all know. And we had the showing of rooms. And that's cool, because once again we are at the, and that's the best picture possible, we are at the theme of this episode, reintroduce the college kids, reintroduce our students, who they are, what they are like, and we learn a bit more about their background apart from their quirk. For some it is not really a surprise. Yes, it had to be shiny, we all knew it, and I still like him, sorry. For others, it was kind of surprising, like our Raven with his sword and also dark and gloomy. Nice one. Somewhere completely normal. And they reintroduced all the characters while having it on this theme of as though they want to vote what's the best room. As we learn later on, it was not about that. They came up with this idea, the girls came up with this idea to get the group back together, to do something together that bonds the class again and have fun together and just, you know, find a way to talk with each other again after this shaming and the fact that 5 of them did what they did. So, really cool. Different room, as I said, I guess there's a lot in each of these rooms which you can speculate about, and I wouldn't be surprised, sleeping, if there would be something like some hidden Easter eggs in some of the rooms, which, if you go through pick by pick, possibly you could find. At least I would like that if we find some Easter eggs about characters. Yeah, well, that's it for that. Todoroki. I still don't get this room. I really have no clue what it is. Whatever. Then we had the talk with Tsu in the end, and I think that's it for this episode. I really liked it. It was well done, and I really felt when the episode ended, although they ended it on a tough thing on the fact that Tsu is so depressed about what happened. They came back together. The 5 apologized, which is, I think, an important thing. Maybe we will have it in the next episode that they will openly apologize to the class. I don't know. I think it would be a good thing to do. Because they kind of... they're representatives of the class. They, so when Eraserhead shamed them, he kind of shamed the whole class. So maybe that would be a good thing to do. Maybe it is already solved by the coming back together for the rooms thing. I don't know. However, after the episode ended, I felt like, yes, I'm boiled down a bit from the hype episodes. Last episode was not mainly hype, but still there was a lot in, especially with the ending, you know. And it now boiled a bit down and we are at a normal level again. And I'm interested to see where this is going for, you know, the training and everything. I liked it. Good one. Slow one, calmer one, but good one with some comedic relief. Always a good thing to have. So, that's it from me. I hope you liked as well. And as always, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.